do a whoop. So he goes whoop, and almost instantly, whoop, comes right back. And my eyes now are about as big as $50.
Out in the woods, shadows creep slow. Footprints deep where no man should go. Cold winds howl through hollers and brooks. Whispers of Bigfoot in the way it looks. Myths, monsters, and mullets in the night. Under a pale moon, strange glowing light. Truth out there like a blade it cuts. Myths, monsters, and mullets run amok.
Welcome back to Myths, Monsters, and Mullets, the show where the strange, the unexplained, and the weird take center stage, and where the people behind the encounters matter just as much as the encounters themselves. We're not just here to talk about what was seen. We're here to understand who saw it, how it changed them, and why it still matters. Before we get started, quick shout out to our supporters over on Patreon. If you'd like to help keep the show independent, ad-free, and unapologetically weird, head on over to our Patreon. You'll find members episodes, early access to all the public episodes, and bonus material you won't see or hear anywhere else. If you've had an encounter or something strange that you've just never been able to explain, I want to hear from you. Email me at mythsandmullets@gmail.com. That's mythsandmullets@gmail.com. Your experience could be featured on a future episode. It's coming up fast. Mark your calendars. June 6th, 2026. I'll be speaking at the Arkansas Cryptid Fest in North Little Rock, Arkansas. If you're into cryptids, folklore, and listening to great speakers, that's where you need to be. If you haven't yet, make sure you've hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're following me on all your favorite podcast platforms. Give this episode a like, leave a comment, leave us a review. That'll help us with the algorithm, and that's the best way to grow the show. Make sure you check the descriptions on all my episodes. Down below, you're going to find a list of all my favorite podcasts, from Nevermore Hollows, Drunken Cryptids, Chumming with the Spirits, Ghost Gossip, and so much more. And while you're over there listening to their shows, leave them a comment and tell them John sent you. And with that, let's start the show. Welcome back to Myths, Monsters, and Mullets. I am your host, John Methenkamp. On tonight's show, we have a returning guest. He was a lifesaver when I needed a guest on my live back on December 7th. I had a guest that wasn't able to make it. I put out the signal on Facebook, and Jim's like, I got you. I can come on. We can do this. But he came on, and we talked about some of his paranormal encounters. He has a channel called Paranormal Fellowship on YouTube and various other platforms. So, Jim, why don't you introduce yourself again to my listeners?
Hi, I'm Jim Sparks, and if you look on Paranormal Fellowship, you only see me. I don't believe in groups, but I've been using it as a video storage, like diary. I've been doing the paranormal research since the 80s. Started out with like ghosts and that because as a young kid, I was afraid of the dark, and I don't like being afraid of anything. So I went from ghosts, and then I had a Bigfoot encounter when I wasn't really sure Bigfoot existed. And then I had an encounter, and it sort of like, okay, this sort of got me a little bit. So I started looking into Bigfoots, and my dad told me a story when I was 52 years old that he's seen a UFO. Never said anything about being into the paranormal or knowing anything about the paranormal until I was 52 and over his house for Christmas. So you could say if I lived close enough to Loch Ness, I'd be out there looking for Nessie too.
Heck yeah. Well, you're in
Northwest Pennsylvania. Yeah, Northwest Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I mean, you could always go look for Champ.
Yeah, it's a little bit out there, but yeah, and I could make it over there, I guess. But I've got a friend of an acquaintance through Facebook that's out there looking for Champ. I'll let her handle that.
All right, yeah. For those who don't know, Champ is the Loch Ness monster of Lake Champlain.
And wait a minute, I forgot. There's Bessie too.
Bessie is in Lake Erie.
You got it. And there was just a reported sighting on what was it? The first Saturday of February or was it January 31st? I think it was January 31st, February 1st, whichever one was Saturday, at Lake Erie at Presque Isle, where three fishermen were out there fishing in their boat, and they reported seeing a large black solid figure about 7, 8 foot tall walk across the ice that they just broke in their boat and walk from one shoreline over across this broken ice over to the other shoreline and disappear. So
When you
Lake
say
Erie,
large black figure, are you talking Bessie or are you talking like Bigfoot?
well, what they're saying they're saying it's that they call they I guess, and I just when I seen this, I researched it. They have shadow creatures up there that are the size and shape of Bigfoot, but they don't leave physical evidence behind. So
Hmm.
they call them like shadow beings.
Huh. I had
But that
not
was the
heard
first
that.
I'd ever heard of it.
I have to look into that. And you said that was on Lake Erie?
That was at Presque Isle on Lake Erie, and like I said, it was either January 31st, February 1st, whatever that Saturday was.
Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that.
Mm.
Might have to do an episode on it or something.
Yeah, because they said that they attached to it a article from one of the local Erie newspapers from the early 2000s where there was a whole bunch of these shadow creatures that were sighted up there.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm kind of
Wow.
waiting for the 3 to 4 foot of snow they have up there to melt down a little bit. Then I'm going to head up.
Yeah, they get that lake effect snow.
Yeah.
Did you guys get a lot of snow a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, we got about a little over 2 feet, and it all came down within
Oh,
a couple
just a little
hours.
bit.
Yeah, just a little, wasn't much. Just a good enough excuse for me to stay inside, drink some coffee, and just watch shows like yours on YouTube all the time.
That's right. Anytime you are snowed in, the best thing you can do is snuggle up to the mullet.
You got it.
That's why I keep telling my wife, like, we're snowed in. You just need to snuggle up to the mullet.
Mm.
That might
And
be my
that's
new catchphrase.
I like that. I think you should come up with a T-shirt and a hat for that.
I can.
Mhm.
That's going to be in the back of my next T-shirt. Snuggle up to the mullet. I love it. Love it. So you were saying that you had a Bigfoot encounter.
Yes, I did, and it was back in I think it was 2012. Uh, let's put it this way: it was the very first season of Finding Bigfoot was out. And at that time, I was a ghost hunter. That was pretty much what I did. If I wasn't on my Harley, driving to the bars, doing poker runs at the bars, 350 pounds of me, smoking cigarettes, drinking beer, riding the Harley, uh, I wanted to ghost hunt. And then I had four friends tell me, said, hey, let's go to Hocking Hills, Ohio. They have all kinds of caves and they have all kinds of hiking trails and waterfalls. And I'm like, okay, hiking outside, up and down caves and trails and or sitting at a bar drinking beer and riding my Harley. And I'm like, I'm thinking you guys could go, And they said, oh, the cabin we're going to stay in is haunted. I'm like, what do you mean the cabin's haunted? So, well, last time we were there, we were all sitting out at the fire and we looked in, and we could see the shadow of someone moving around in the cabin. And it's out in the middle of a 200-acre tree farm, and there's no one else around. The next closest person is a mile away. I'm like, okay. And they kept building up this whole thing about the cabin being haunted. Now, I was never much for one of these gun, cabins and hunting. Like I said, jump me on my Harley and I'll go out and I'll find a motel room or something somewhere. And they finally talked me into going down. And you have to, if you ever go to Hocking Hills, Ohio, you have to look this place up. It's actually just across the county line in the next county, but it's called Hocking Hills Farm. And it is a 2-story house with a fully furnished basement with a 7-person hot tub. This is what they call their cabin. I'm like, this cabin's nicer than my house. And we decided we're going to go down there. Now, again, this house, like I said, the next closest person is about a mile away, and it's the people that own the house. And it sits in the middle of a 200-acre tree farm, Christmas tree farm, and then it butts up to the mountains. So when we get there on Friday, we're like, oh, what the heck? It's too late to go into town. Let's just, we'll put something on the grill, eat, and then we'll go hiking in the woods back here to see if we see anything or just, whatever. Again, I wasn't interested in Bigfoot back then. Yes, I've seen Bigfoot on, the Patterson Gimlin film and Finding Bigfoot, but Yeah, I've hunted in Pennsylvania and Ohio my whole life. There ain't no Bigfoot out here in these woods. So we go out there, and there's two people with us, Jamie and Jenny, who have had Bigfoot encounters previously. So they're the sort of the ones that are spurring on this whole, let's go see if Bigfoot's out here. So we follow this path someone cut with a lawnmower, must be a brush hog, and we come up on the top of this mountain, and it's a road. And the road is from when they put in the high tension power lines and it just hadn't regrown over yet. So we're like, all right. So we go hiking down this road for a while, and then we come down, and typical mountains, you're going down the ravine and you're coming up the ravine, and we get this one area, and Jamie's sitting there going, look, this is a Bigfoot footprint. So I'm skeptical but curious. I go over there and I look and go, well, I guess technically it could be, but it also could be, like the other guy who was with Miss Todd. We're like, it could also be a bear, doing a double step. There's only one print, so we really couldn't, prove it or disprove it or anything. So we're like, oh well. So we walked around out there in those woods for a while and came back, and no big deal. So Saturday we go into town. Well, I call town Hocking Hills. We start hiking all the trails and all the waterfalls and all the caves. Well, Jamie has this thing where I'm shy. I'm shy. I don't like to talk to people I don't know or do things we don't know. So again, this is the first season of Finding Bigfoot. And you know what those guys were like. So we're at this one they called the Old Man's Cave. And Jamie goes, whoop, real loud. And now 1,000 people that are in this cave system, in this whole trail park system, start whooping back. And we're like, yeah, you're real shy. We're talking for a good half hour. Everyone's whooping. One person will whoop, someone answers, and it's just everywhere. And I think this is important because I think this stirred up what happened later. So after we hiked all day, about 7 o'clock, we go into town. We find a restaurant, sit down and eat. And it's just about 9:30, 10 o'clock, we get back to the cabin. Now, when we get to the cabin, I forgot to bring up this. There's this beagle. And the one woman, Jenny, she named it Baby. You can tell this beagle has been out in the woods for a while because it's all like jaggery. It's got a bullet hole in its ear. So this dog's been abandoned for a while. And when we seen it Friday, we give food and water. So we came back Saturday. It came up to us at the bonfire. I just popped up an adult beverage, and we're sitting there. And my old fat rear end is like, yeah, I'm just going to sit here, have a couple beers, and then I'm going to bed. I don't even care if the cabin's haunted. I'm just tired at this point. Well, Jamie, who is a pit bull, starts going, well, let's go up in the woods and let's go look for Bigfoot at night. And the three of us look at him and go, are you serious? We just spent 8 hours hiking all day long. We're tired. We just want to sit here. And he just won't let it go. So we're like, okay, finally about 11:30 midnight, we decide we're going to go up in the woods and we're going to look for Bigfoot. Now, this is how prepared we were. I had the only weapon. You know those little folding knives that have like the 4-inch blade?
Yeah.
That was the only weapon we had. For equipment to document things, he had a iPod, not an iPhone, an iPod that we could set to record. And I took my Toshiba flip phone to try and use it for camera. So you know how well prepared we are at this point.
You might as well just brought potatoes.
Yeah, exactly. So the five of us and this dog go hiking up this pathway up to this road that we found earlier the day before. So we get up there, and I'm telling you what, it was the most amazing sight you have ever seen in your life. You can't even imagine this. And you looked, every tree, every leaf, every branch, every blade of grass was covered with a lightning bug. The whole forest was twinkling like it was decorated for Christmas. It was the most amazing thing I had ever seen in my life. And I pulled out that Toshiba flip phone, and I'm trying to take pictures without the flash. Nothing shows up. With the flash, all you get is a flash. I'm like, shit, you just can't imagine how pretty this was. So now again, the three of us, me, Todd, and Monique, are tired. We're like, okay, go ahead and do your whoops and do your tree knocks. So he does, tree knock. He does the whoop. Nothing happens. So I'm like, okay, good. Let's go back and drink some beer and sit down for a little bit. It's like, no, 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 come on, let's go down the road a little further. I'm like, oh, I'm too old and fat for this. So we get down there and we hike down a little ways further, and we get to a section where on this road, when you look out to the right, it's a swamp, and the full moon is on the other side of the swamp, the trees and everything. And then to the left, almost immediately, as soon as you go off that road, you have like 4 or 5 steps, and then drops down a 30-foot cliff. So it's like we're pretty isolated. And I go, all right, go ahead and do your tree knock. At this point, I'm just, like, whatever, let's get it over. He goes, and almost instantly comes right back. Todd and I look at him. Yeah, it was kind of weird. We looked down and said, that doesn't mean anything. You could have a squirrel drop a branch over. It could drop the nut. A deer could have walked through. The wind could have blew. There's a million things. We're not convinced that's Bigfoot. So we say, do 2 knocks. So he goes, and almost instantly comes back.
Really?
So, yeah. And now I'm going, okay, this is a little too coincidental. Yeah, and we're just sitting there, and Todd and I are really looking into the swamp, trying to see anything. We really can't see anything. We said, all right, here's one for you. Do a whoop. So he goes, whoop. And almost instantly, whoop, comes right back. And my eyes now are about as big as $50. I mean, I'm like, my mouth's open. I'm swallowing mosquitoes. I don't care. And I'm looking, and you could see this tree in the back of the swamp. And that's this tree, you'd see something peeking out.
Really?
Couldn't really, I mean, it's probably in there about a good 30 yards, no further than 30 yards. So now everyone decides to get into it. So the girls are doing tree knocks, and we get tree knocks back. Todd's doing whoops. We're getting whoops back. I'm the only one sitting there. I'm not doing whoops for tree knocks. I'm trying to see this thing that's doing this. And every so often, you can hear sloshing going through in the swamp. And we're noticing like the whoops coming back to us, and the knocks are getting louder. Not that they're being, hit harder or whooping louder. It's just getting closer to us. Now, everyone says they have their Bigfoot encounters that last 5 seconds or 10 seconds. No, we're doing a good 15, 20 minutes.
Really?
And it's just going on and on. And like I said, we're all zoned in on us. So Monique, who's a singer in a rock band, comes over and she says, I'm going to do that angry gorilla growl you always see on TV, that. And she's got a really good voice. And just as she finished saying that, we hear a whoop, but now it's coming from the cliff. And they're like, oh, it got by us. And I'm like, no. While you guys are sitting there talking about what you're going to do, there's no way whatever's in that swamp got out of the swamp, up onto the road, over the road, and down the cliff without either us seeing it or hearing it. Not a chance. And as soon as I finish saying that, we get another whoop from the swamp. So now we're sitting there like a tennis match. We're hearing whoops and wood knocks from the swamp, and then they're being answered by the one on the other side of the cliff. And we're literally just going back and forth. And again, we could still hear the sloshing coming through the swamp, and it's getting closer. So finally, there's a break for a couple of seconds where nothing's going on. And Monique says, okay, I'm going to do it now. So she goes, and everything stops. And then all of a sudden you hear crack, 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 crack. And I'm looking in the swamp. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And all of a sudden, right hand of the Lord, I see this tree come up in the air and then come flying towards us. And the tree hits the ground, and it hits the ground so close and so hard. You know the concussion you get from like an explosion when it hits you in the chest like that? That happened to me. It hit me in the chest. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, all right, I'm going to see what it is. It's coming. It's making spray coming through us now. And I hear my buddy Todd on the right, who was like from me to, 2 feet away from me, goes, F this, I'm out of here, except for he used real explicit language. And I look, him and the other 4 are running up this road, up the side of the mountain, leaving me there by myself. All of a sudden, my bravery went right out the window. I'm like, I'm not staying here by myself. And I looked at him, so you ain't leaving the old bald fat man behind. And I go trucking up and catch up to him. And Jenny, the one woman, she's sitting there going, don't fall, nobody fall. Everyone be careful. Don't slip, don't fall. And we finally get up to the spot where we've seen all the lightning bugs. And we all stopped and we're trying to catch our breath a little bit. And we noticed the dog's gone. We never realized that while we're down there and all this was going on, that the dog wasn't there. So we're like, what happened to the dog? We're like, did this creature eat the dog? I mean, what's going on? Maybe that's why it's so raggedy and beat up looking. And all of a sudden we heard branches break from what would have been the cliffside, but now is sort of like level. We're hearing branches in the weeds. And we're like, shit, it's coming. So I'm like, all right, you guys go ahead. I got the weapon. I'll protect us. So there's me, my little 4-inch blade walking behind. Again, no flashlights. We're trying to make our way down this trail and we keep hearing branches break and, following us down there. And we're like, oh, we don't know at this point, is it, chipmunks? Is it a rabbit? Is it Bigfoot? Is it deer? We're just freaked out. We're thinking it's Bigfoot following us. So we finally make it back down to the fire. We throw a couple logs on the fire. We all crack a brand new beer and we're sitting there and we can hear the cracking of the branches all around us still. And we all took about 2 sips of the beer and said, that's it. We all went in the house to go to bed. Now, here's the real kicker. Those 2 couples were in the upstairs bedroom on the 2nd floor with locked doors to get in the bedroom. I was sleeping in the basement next to the sliding glass doors facing the woods we just ran out of. Tell me how much sleep I got that night. We went out the next morning better prepared and during daylight, so we were braver. And we were looking in that swamp area where we're at, and we found 19-inch footprints in the mud.
Really?
Yeah. And we've gone back there a couple times since then. We've never had another encounter since then. But that first night, we were dead set right in between 2 of them. We're thinking it was like a spouse, like a male and a female, and they were trying to get together, and we interrupted, cut in front of them, and they weren't happy with us.
Wow.
So that's what got me hooked. I steered me so much from ghost hunting more into Bigfoot hunting from there.
Right. So you said the one looked like it was maybe 30 yards away.
Right. But
Um,
remember, it's in the swamp, and I got the full moon behind it.
okay.
So
So
it's hard for me to see
I know
anything.
you couldn't probably see any details on it, but could you get an idea of how tall it was?
Roughly from looking at it and trying to remember how high it was on the tree when it was peeking out, and when we went out the next day, I'm saying probably about 7.5 feet.
Okay. Yeah.
So definitely
Holy
larger,
cow.
larger than us.
Right. Right. Did you smell anything?
No, no one really talked about the smell of Bigfoot till well after this happened. When the 5 of us, none of us smelled anything. We didn't smell wet dog or that putrid smell everyone talks about. I've had more Bigfoot in close encounters since then, and I've never once smelled the smell that people talk about.
Yeah, it's not reported all the time. Um, but you do occasionally get it. But in my own possible encounters, I did have the smell. So that's one of the reasons I always ask that question. I've heard some people say that, the smell's only reported maybe 10 to 15 to 20% of the time.
I'm thinking it has to do with like the weather and the terrain. Like if it's wet around there, because you think about it, if you have a dog and you're outside hunting, you start out, it's dry, there's no smell. It gets wet, then the smell comes.
Right. Right. I forget who I was talking to just a couple weeks ago. Their theory was, um, they're like us, and if we've spent a lot of time out there and haven't had a chance to wash up,
Mm.
if they're eating, carrion,
Mm.
that could give you that rotten meat smell. Things like that.
That's good points.
Swampy areas, they have a smell about them.
Mm.
So there's a lot of things that could account for the smell. The one thing that, in just my, and this the show isn't about me, but the one thing whenever I encountered the smell was it was like a bubble. You come into it and you get out of it. There's no like, it's gradually getting worse and worse and worse, and then it gradually gets better. It was just like a bubble, like boom, it's there, and boom, it's not. So, but that's beside the point. This isn't about me. This is you.
Well, no, that's interesting to know because I do try to spend as much time as I can in the woods, and that's interesting to know.
Yeah. I will say this. I grew up horseback riding Hocking Hills.
You're familiar with it.
Yeah, Hocking Hills and Tar Hollow.
Yeah.
Tar Hollow is not very far from Hocking Hills.
Yeah.
We used to ride our horses from Tar Hollow's horseman's camp to Hocking Hills horseman's camp and back in one day.
Mm.
It's about a 12-hour ride,
Mm.
but it's doable. So it's very close.
Yeah.
And Tar Hollow is where I had my possible encounters. So we're talking 20 miles away.
Well, it's
So
interesting that you said that because I had a gentleman I used to work with when I worked at Sears, and he was a horseback rider, and he rode from Tar Hollow, and he had a
really,
Bigfoot encounter riding out of Tar Hollow where he was riding with the horse, and the horse stopped all suddenly, and then out stepped a Bigfoot in front of the trail and sort of looked at him, then growled, and the horse started like getting nervous, and then
hmm
the Bigfoot stepped off the trail, and the horse wouldn't go any further. He had to turn around and go back.
wow. I'm gonna talk to you off air about that one.
Okay.
Um, so you said you've had more encounters since then, but um, this this Hocking Hills farm, that's what you said the name was the cabin was.
Yes, Hocking Hills Farm.
Um, how far away was it from like the state the state park itself?
5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, so really close.
It's just across the line.
Okay, okay, yeah. Like I said, I spent my summers down in that area.
Mm.
Old Man's Cave is gorgeous.
Yes, it like I said, once they got me down there and I got over the whole thing of hiking, as being a fat man, I will agree it was gorgeous and it's got me hooked on that stuff now.
Did you make it to Ash Cave?
Yes, we did. That's
I
where he's
love
actually
Ash Cave.
that's where he started with the whoops and got everybody in the whole park doing whoops.
Was an Ash Cave?
Yeah, he was
Oh wow.
outside Ash Cave and we were walking. We were going down to oh, I can't remember the name of it now, but we're walking down to some like a waterfall or something, and it was real dry, so there wasn't a lot of water running anywhere. And he did the whoop, and then it just started everyone throughout the whole park because he would do it, and someone heard it, and then they would do it, and someone further down would do it, and like I said, everyone in that whole Hocking Hills Park was whooping.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of really neat waterfalls and caves down there. Even if you're listening to this and you're not into Bigfoot or whatever,
Yeah,
make a
just for
trip to Hocking Hills. If you're into hiking,
nature
cliffs.
sites,
Oh yeah,
it is
it's
beautiful,
gorgeous.
and
Yeah.
you don't have to be an expert hiker in order to go through these. Like, what was it? Old Man's Cave is like a half a mile, and it's completely flat and wheelchair accessible.
Yeah, some of it's got steps, but I mean, you're right. There's parts of it that are wheelchair accessible.
Yeah.
Ash Cave is completely flat all the way back to the cave and the waterfall.
Yeah.
There is an upper trail that you do have to climb some steps, but you don't have to go up that. You can
Right.
walk back to it and walk straight back, and I think most of it's paved,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, definitely check out Hocking Hills if you're into hiking and you're in the Ohio area.
Right. And who knows, you might have a Bigfoot encounter.
Right. There's a lot of reports out of that area.
Yeah. Well, they actually just started a Hocking Hills Bigfoot Festival down there too, last couple of
Right.
years.
Yeah. Yep. So you have this where you're surrounded. Basically, you have one on each side of you. The cliff one though, how far away do you think that one was from you? You said that the one in front of you was like 30
Yeah.
yards.
The one in front of us, like I said, was about 30 yards away. The one behind us down the cliff, I have no real idea because all we ever did was hear it.
Okay.
And like I said, we had to go 4 or 5 steps to get down the cliff and then go for a way. And the way, as well as I do, the way sound carries when you're in that kind of situation,
Right.
I just knew there was something down there, but I couldn't tell how far.
And what happened to the dog?
Well, that's funny. When we got back I forgot to mention this, when we got back to the bonfire and we cracked open the beer, the dog was sitting at the bonfire.
He was already sitting there.
Yeah, he had enough. He turned around and ran back there and waited for us.
He's like these idiots. They'll be back at some point. Yeah, I'm just going to head on back now.
Yeah, he was the smart one.
I'll see you at the fire.
Yeah. Yeah, we told the owner of the cabin about the dog because it had a partial tag on it. And we told him about the dog, and we told him he's hanging out at the cabin because we've been feeding it. And here was they had a report one of the hunters had lost the beagle, and they
Oh,
would look for it for a while and they couldn't find it. So the owner ended up going up there later that day and got the beagle and reunited with the owner.
it's see it. Everything worked out for the best.
Yep, everything worked out the way it was supposed to.
Yeah. So that you're this group that you're with, that's doing all the hooting and the whoops and tree knocks and stuff. Were they all really into Bigfoot?
Just two. Jamie and Jenny had what they said they thought was a Bigfoot encounter previously.
Okay.
And then myself, Todd, and Monique were like, well, yeah, Bigfoot probably is real, but it's not going to be in Ohio. It's out west in Washington State or up in Canada. It's not around here. Well, since that time, Jamie and Jenny and myself will still go out and we'll look for Bigfoot. The other two came up with some sort of like way off the wall, explanation, but yet they won't go back in the woods.
They're trying to convince themselves that it's not real.
Right. They're trying for their own peace of mind and their sanity that this couldn't have happened. It has to be. I forget what the story was they came up with. But yeah, something like a porcupine, with throwing quills, and like porcupines don't really throw quills like that. Yeah, it's like,
And
yeah, no,
I've never seen a porcupine throw a tree.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like I said, I actually saw the tree flying through the air and crash down, and I felt the wind concussion hit me in the chest, and I'm
Wow.
like, hmm. Like I said, at first, and I thought, okay, there's five of us here. This is going to be good. I'm going to see it. Then when I seen the four of them running up the hill, I'm like, my bravery is up there with them.
I mean, I'll just say that I'd have probably had to change my underwear.
Well, I probably should have, but like I said, I'm not the smartest in the world. At first, I was more excited to see what this thing was, and yeah, like I said, I may be good looking, but I ain't too smart.
Wow. So that was your first encounter.
That was the first encounter, and it got me hooked.
Yeah. So what happens next?
Well, next I start with Jamie. We start investigating Bigfoot claims because where we live, there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings, and there's also dogman sightings. So I'm not really interested in looking for dogman. I have no desire whatsoever to run into one of those out in the woods. None. I don't care if it's real or not real. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
But he gave me a call, and this was in March, and there was probably about 4 inches, 3, 4 inches of snow on the ground. And he said there was a report of a sighting out at this Shenango Dam Reservoir, one of the parks that we have, the little like hunting, fishing areas where they have boat launches. And said someone had just seen a Bigfoot out there the day before, and I'm going to meet him out there, and we're going to go see if we find footprints or get more hoots or hollers or whatever. Now, one thing about Jamie, he's always late. He could pick the time and tell you what time to be there, and he'll still be 15, 20 minutes late. So I'm heading out there. Now, this is a few years later. I have my iPhone 4. So it's still a while ago, but it was an iPhone now. And I'm driving down the road and coming up to the area where, the supposed sighting happened. So I'm slowing down. The speed limit on this road is 55. And I'm slowing down. And all of a sudden, there's this area that's all, goes farmer's field, cornfield to wooded field with a little stream, creek, whatever you want to call it. And then it goes into the main woods. As I'm getting up there by this stream, I'm looking and going, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. And there it was, a Bigfoot, and it was kind of unique because it had a white strip running down the back of its head and white strips off of each shoulder. And I'm like, shit, I'm, don't have a cell phone holder. I'm reaching in my phone cup, trying to pull out my phone, and I'm slowing down and stopping, and the car behind me honks the horn. Now, this creature is walking in the creek, so there's no footprints. And as soon as he honks that horn, this thing takes off running. I'm like, shit, I know it. The road to turn into the park is only 500 yards down here. I'm going to fly down here like the Dukes of Hazzard, turn onto this dirt road, and then turn and come back up and see if I can get it coming out the other side. So my little GMC 5-cylinder Canyon pickup truck is doing its best General Lee impersonation. I'm flying down these dirt roads, going sideways every which way I can. And I come out to the area where I think it's going to come out, and 8 deer run across the road right in front of me. and I slide to a stop, and I'm sitting there waiting. I'm out of the truck. I'm looking for these 8 deer just came running out because it's right on that creek path that I just seen that Bigfoot on. 8 deer come out, and I'm waiting, and I'm looking, and I usually don't ever do this. I'm doing whoops, I'm doing tree knocks, and not nothing. And then half hour later, Jamie comes out. What are you doing parked down here? It's like, what do you think I'm doing parked down here? I just seen it. It was just here. So I don't know what happened to it from when that person honked their horn, but I'm figuring it was chasing those deer. Because, like I said, I came flying out there. Those deer were already in a full gallop when they crossed the road in front of me.
Wow. Yeah, and I mean, the fact that you saw this thing in that same creek
Yeah,
going that direction, I mean, that's obvious that that was what they were running from.
right. And where it went from that point, I have no idea. All I know is that area, that's not fit for man nor beast. Because I've tried, investigating back through there, and I don't know about where you're living at, but we have so many jagger bushes that I carry a machete with me. Now you can't cut your way through these bushes to get down to in there, and you're walking in swamp and creek and jagger bushes. I tried doing it in the winter when everything was frozen solid, and you still can't get through it.
Wow. Yeah, currently I am in northern Indiana. So it's all flatland.
Yeah,
It's all cornfields.
yeah. Like I said,
So,
that's
yeah.
nothing wrong with that. It's just the jaggers that get you. You get those jagger bushes. I had car hearts where they rip apart car hearts on them.
Yeah. 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 Wow. Wow. So Jamie didn't see anything that day.
No, because he was half hour late getting there. Wanting to know why I'm parked in the middle of the road looking out into the field, not where we're supposed to be.
Yeah. This was your hunt and you didn't even show up for it.
Yeah, he could have been there between the two of us. If he was already there, I would have chased it right into him.
Yeah. Yeah. Missed opportunity.
Yeah. That's why I carry a dash camera in my cars. People think it's because, you get in an accident or whatever. Yeah, that's okay, good. But for driving back and forth, I mean, half the time you're going somewhere, you see it when it's crossing the road. I have the dash camera, so I don't have to fumble for my phone anymore.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere or heard somewhere that 80% of sightings are roadside encounters, people in their vehicles.
Right.
So, wow. So, have you had other experiences then?
Well, all right. I'll give you two more. One was where I work there. I have to take Interstate 80 in Pennsylvania for quite a ways. And I don't know if you've ever driven on Interstate 80 in Ohio, Pennsylvania, but it's basically Mad Max. People don't know how
Yeah.
to drive. They swerve in and out, spike the brakes. Yeah. So I get bored driving this route because I'm on it for on an interstate for an hour. So I have a tendency to look out the windows a lot. And on the 80, it goes over, there's a little trestle where you go over a little railroad track, and then there's a road, and then it goes into a farmer's field. No big deal, right? So, and it's about March. So I'm going down Interstate 80 and I look down the railroad tracks to see what's going on. I go, oh, cool. There's a father and a son walking down the railroad tracks, all dressed in black. Like, no big deal. That's all I thought about. No big deal. Well, 2 days later, I'm going down that same stretch and I get to the farmer's field. And there's the farmer. He's going out hunting, and I can see his orange hat, his brown Carhartt, his blue jeans, and his brown boots, all about further away than the two kids, the father and son I seen walking down the railroad tracks in all black. So I'm like, why could I see all this color? The two people I seen on the railroad tracks, which are closer, I can only see black. So to me, it's
Huh.
like it's got me confused. So I call my friends Jamie and Bill, who were just come back from doing a Bigfoot sighting report in Grove City, Pennsylvania. And where I seen them was outside of Grove City, Pennsylvania, the same day they took the report for a sighting in the farmer's field. And it runs, that farmer's field they'd had the sighting report on, runs into the same train tracks that I seen these two black figures walking down the train tracks.
Holy cow. And
So
you didn't know that they were doing that.
I didn't even know they were out there until I just called them and saying, why did because I'm like, at the time, I'm like, still not thinking Bigfoot. Like, why were they all black? But I see hunters and I could make out every color. And they go, what
Yeah.
day was this? And I tell them, they go, well, that's the same day we got the report of a Bigfoot sighting right over there in Grove City on these same railroad tracks.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
You might have seen the exact same one.
Yeah. I just seen it. It's taking the railroad tracks because it's easier to get through the land.
And they say that they'll follow railroad tracks or power line cutouts and
Right.
things
So
like that.
so there's two
Path
sides.
of
I had
least
one,
resistance.
yeah, one power line cut out and one railroad tracks. So it's
Wow.
like, okay, that's pretty good. I'm like, by the time I realized what it was, I couldn't go back there to these railroad tracks and look for it because the snow all started melting, so there wouldn't really be any footprints or anything. And
Right.
being snow on the ground, it was all frozen, so there wouldn't be anything in the ground.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm.
Wow. You said you had one more?
Yeah, one more. Is section at the Shenango Dam. Um, when I first went in this one section, I was looking around because there's real heavy, I'm up on like a lip and there's all this real heavy vegetation, jagger bushes and shrubs and everything. And I'm like, it looks like there's something on the other side of these bushes and that. So I go through there, and mind you, this is the middle of the woods. There is this, I don't know, I call it a hidden valley. There's this valley that there's no trees, there's no bushes, it's all flat and smooth. And when you look, there's like all these in and out tunnels on the sides where if you're in there, there's like an area where something's bedding down, and then it goes. You can see where it runs out of this little valley, all around it. So as I'm walking through there, I get to the other area, the other side of it. Now you tell me what this is. This is all green. This is in the spring. There is a 50-foot round black burnt circle at the end of this thing.
You said burnt?
Burnt. But there's no like burnt branches or like a fire pit or anything around there. And it's all moist ground. It's all wet. I mean, I'm sloshing mud everywhere I go. And there's this 50-foot round, perfectly round circle burnt into this hidden valley.
Huh. What time of year was this?
This was March, April, right around in there. Like I said, everything was wet. Everything was soaking. Like I said, this was all black, burnt, except just that one area. Everything else was green. Now this
Did you have
area,
any storms that went through in that around that
nothing,
time?
nothing with like lightning or thunder or anything. We had,
Okay.
rain and
Okay.
snow that
You
would
see
melt if
where I
we're
was
in the
going with
40s.
that.
Yeah. So now
Yeah.
you've hunted in the woods, right? Spent time hiking in the woods.
I do all my hunting in the bars. Oh, wait a minute. We're talking about animals. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit those
Yeah.
four-legged critters. Well, what happens when you're out there and everything goes quiet? What's that usually
That
mean?
means a predator is around.
If you ever come over this way, I'll take you here. There is never any noise in this area that I call the by the hidden valley. There's no chipmunks, there's no crickets, there's no peepers, there's no birds, there's nothing. At first I thought it was okay, it's because I'm moving and they're afraid of me. So I started carrying a folding chair with me. And I'll sit down there and I'll open up a book, leave my phone recording me, and read the book. Never a noise. Now you'll hear birds and geese and ducks way out in the distance, but right there, nothing. It's
Really?
always dead quiet. I've taken EMF meters, K2 meters, Geiger counters, you name it. You say maybe there's some sort of like electronic interference or something that's chasing the critters away from there. Never had anything, anything to prove any of that. So the one day I'm going out there, I got my folding chair in my bag. I got my backpack full of my Bigfoot gear on with my book. And as I'm walking down, it's a grove where when they built the dam, they planted all these pine trees. And there's this like little little road, whatever, where they used to take their tractors back and forth to do the work. So I'm walking down there and I look down there and there is a couple 18-inch footprints in the mud. And so I'm like, okay, this is really cool. Here we go. Barefoot footprints look like Bigfoot. I could see the toes and everything. So I break out my little neon green roller and I put it in there and I'm taking my pictures and everything. And I'm like, okay, pack everything up, put the backpack on, and all of a sudden I hear crack, 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 thud. I'm like, what the hell's that? Now, this area is completely flat. There's no hills. And like I said, it's all man made. So there's no like rocks or anything. It's just a flat pine tree area. And I looked to the right where I heard the thud, and there's a 40-pound rock that had hit within 4 feet of me. And you could see the indent it made into the ground and then bounced forward. And I'm looking around.
Holy cow.
There's like, it's pine trees. There's nowhere, there's no hills. There's no nothing. There's nowhere where this could have fell from. Where did this come from? And why did it hit so close to me? And again, there's no noise. So there's no birds or anything going on. And I'm looking around. I can't see anything. I'm like, okay. So I just kept going the way I was going, set my chair up and started reading. Nothing else happened except for that. It's like they're telling me, we're here. Don't do anything we don't want you doing. We know what you're doing. Don't do anything else.
You had a 40-pound boulder
Yes.
thrown at you.
Yes.
And you said, you know what I should probably do? Just sit right here.
Well, I went about 50 yards further away, but yeah. Well, my feeling on this was if they wanted to hit me, because the boulder, the rock, landed in the trees. I was in the clear. So it'd have been a lot easier for them to hit me than it would be for them to miss me. So I think it was sort of more like a warning shot.
Yeah. Yeah. You hear that a lot too, whether it's pebbles or rocks or, bigger stones. It's like they have either such good aim that they get it close enough that it's there, but not hit you, or they're stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hoping they're not stormtroopers, because then they try to miss you and they'll hit you. But yeah, I just sit there and figured because it'd have been a lot easier for them to hit me than to miss me. And literally the distance was perfect because it literally hit 6 feet to my right, dead on. Where if it would have been 6 foot to the left, it would have hit me in the head.
Wow.
But
I've never had a visual. I've heard some things. I would like to have a visual.
Trust me, visual from the car is a lot better than in person and close.
Yeah, I bet. And I'm with you on the dog man thing. I've had several reports of them, and that is one of those things that if I were to see it, I would want to be in my vehicle with a high-powered rifle and my vehicle pointing out of a road. Like all I have to do is press the gas and I'm out of there.
Yes.
And I want this thing to be, 100 yards away.
Yes. Yeah. I no desire whatsoever to get up close and personal with the dog man. None whatsoever.
Now, I've never heard, and I could be wrong, I just have never personally heard a friendly dog man encounter.
Come to think of it, out of all the podcasts and the stories, you're right. I've never heard of a friendly one either.
No,
They're
you
always
hear of
aggressive.
friendly Bigfoot,
right?
But never, at least I haven't heard of a friendly dog man encounter.
No, I've never heard of one either. Like I said, it's usually, if there's anything friendly on it, it's like Bigfoot comes and chases Dogman away from attacking you.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of like Dogman coming up and helping you or, pulling you out of the well like Lassie or anything like that.
You're the worst Lassie ever. Timmy would be so ashamed. So you said you had some UFO encounters though too.
Well, one that I could definitely say UFO, and a bunch of ones that not quite sure what they were. So, again, like I said, I always believed in UFOs. I always thought that, we're dumb to think we're the only intelligent life in the universe. So we were out, a group of myself and 4 friends, we're out, and we started doing sky watching. Sky watching is my kind of sport. You take out a folding chair, take out something to drink, and you sit there and you look up at the stars, right? So that's,
I'm in perfect shape for that.
Yeah, hey, trust me too. So we decided we're going to start doing that, and we went up to this propagation area. Yeah, where you're not supposed to do any hunting or fishing or anything, but we figured since all we're doing is sitting there at night looking at the stars, they ain't gonna say nothing. So we spend the night out there, and a couple of the people that are there are really into the whole, oh, I'm a psychic. Let's send out the positive vibes, and we'll call them in, and this and that, and everything else. And it was like we sit there for a couple hours, and it's like, okay, we had fun. It's time to go home. So we pack up all of the gear, and we're walking back out of the woods, and look up and go, "What's that in the sky?" And we're like, "Is that a plane?" And we're looking, but there's no red and green flashing lights, and there's no flashing lights. There's just this white thing moving across the sky, and it's moving kind of slow. So it's like it can't be like a satellite because it's too bright, too large. I'm like, what is that? And as we're sitting there, this white beam of light comes out, not on us, but on the ground, like by where we're walking. And we're like, okay, I've seen helicopters and planes before. I've never seen anything have a white beam of light come out of it. And then the white beam of light goes out, and then the white light goes out. So we're like, okay, like again, some of us, the couple of them are saying UFO, UFO. I'm like, I don't know what that is, and we talk about it a little bit. We keep walking closer to where this white beam of light was coming out. And as we get closer to that area, we start hearing shaking of the trees that we're walking towards. And we can see a couple of the trees shaking. And then we hear a bunch of like running through the woods. Like, okay, what the hell was that? And like I said, there was no like whoops or anything. It's like, was that a deer or was it a bear? Or, all we know was there was this white beam of light that shone on the trees. And then we walked through there, a couple of the trees started shaking, then we heard something rushing through the woods. I'm like, wow, that's okay. That had me scratching my head. Was that a UFO? I mean, all I know is that didn't match up to any plane or helicopter I've ever seen. And what was
How high
shaking?
up in the air do you think this thing was?
Oh, it was easily up there a couple thousand feet. I mean, it was up there.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this thing wasn't like low to the ground or anything. It was way up there, slow moving, but it stopped when it shined the light down. It stopped moving. And then when the light came back up, the light went off. And then the light itself, the little white light that we thought at first was a star, and then we thought it was a helicopter or a plane, then it disappeared too. It didn't like fade away. It just turned off.
Wow. Do you do you have any lost time during that?
Nothing that we can remember. Now, nowadays no one wears watches anymore, and you have your cell phone in your pocket, so we can't really judge one way or the other.
Right. Right. And some people, they claim that um, if you're abducted, they have the ability to bring you back roughly around the same time anyway.
Right.
Um,
Now, the one lady who was with us was, I don't really believe her, but she said that she was an abductee. But she's like everything. She's a witch. She's a psychic. She's a nurse. You name it, she's it. She's a reverend. So I never believed her about her being abducted.
yeah. Um, did anybody feel did anybody feel ill?
Actually, no. Said I don't think personally. I don't think we were abducted or beamed up. I think whatever we heard in the woods, where we're seeing the tree branches shaking and running, was brought down from it.
Well,
Or
I mean that is a theory with Bigfoot
mm,
actually.
yeah, with Bigfoot and a lot of other different cryptids. But like I said, we didn't see anything except for the branches shaking, then hear it, so we had no idea what it was.
Right. I've always wondered maybe Earth is like the rest areas along the interstate,
Mm,
and the UFOs are just dropping their pets off to use the bathroom and
mm. It makes as much sense as anything else.
right,
I mean, I don't know.
right,
Like I said, I don't know if that was a UFO or I don't know what it was. All I know is it didn't act like any shooting star. It didn't act like a plane. It didn't act like a helicopter, and it didn't act like a satellite. So it's like
yeah.
I that's all I'm going to say. I don't know if it was a UFO or what it was. It leaves me confused.
And if it was that small and that high up, if it would have had some kind of spotlight, it's not going to shine on the ground.
Right. And this did. We could actually
Wow.
see the spot that it shined on. And then, like I said, when we got closer, that's when we seen the tree shaking and heard it running through the woods.
Wow. Wow. I don't know. I, I'm with you. I can't believe that we are the only intelligent life out there. The universe is too vast.
Yes.
Um, I don't know which would be more frightening, a UFO encounter or like face to face with an alien or face to face with a Bigfoot. Because to me, and this is just my opinion, nobody's right or wrong with their opinions on Bigfoot. I think Bigfoot belongs here.
Yeah.
So it's part of our ecosystem. It's part of our nature. So I think seeing something that doesn't belong here personally would be more terrifying than seeing something that does belong here. I mean, it's like going out to out west or something and seeing a grizzly bear. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
scary, but it belongs there. You know, it's part of the environment. I to me, I think aliens would be more more terrifying than Bigfoot or I'm not sure about Dogman.
Yeah.
I,
See, I look at it sort of a little bit opposite of you. I look at it this way, where because I'm a flesh and blooder. I believe
mhm.
Bigfoot is flesh and blood. I could be wrong, so I investigate all aspects. But if it is flesh and blood, which means it's an animal, it's like a bear. So it's unpredictable. It's going to go off of basic, instinct about, fear and hunger and stuff like that. Where an alien is more intelligent than we are. So they're going to be more likely to have some compassion or again, there's good and bad in every species, including, I guess, aliens. But if they're intelligent, they're more likely not to just like rip you to pieces.
I'm going to play devil's advocate for a moment.
Okay.
Using humans as the example,
Yeah.
anytime there has been a civilization with better technology than
I know where you're going with this.
the tribe or whatever that they've encountered, it hasn't worked out well for the people that don't have the technology.
Correct. You're right there. Like I said, and we're both conjecturing. We neither one of us know 100%.
Correct. Correct. So everybody listening,
Yeah.
this is just us spitballing here.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
knows. Nobody's an expert. I don't care what they try to tell you.
Yeah.
There's no experts in this stuff.
Yeah.
There's not.
No. No matter how much they try and tell you that they are.
Correct. Except for me.
Well, with you, we got the mullet. The mullet adds that power to it.
Right. Right. And with great power comes great responsibility. I joke, everybody. I
Yeah.
joke. I don't know any more than anybody else. I just look good doing it.
That's the mullet. The mullet makes it, man. The mullet makes it.
Oh my God.
Well, you ready for a sort of an off-topic story?
Heck yeah, let's do it.
All right. So there's a Bigfoot festival in Marionville, Pennsylvania every year. So this one of these years, and I'm not going to go the year or tell you the person, but there's one of these TV celebrities was one of the guests. And at the end of the festival, they have a round table where all the speakers sit up there and then the people in the audience can ask any question. So the one speaker, this is how much, these people are full of themselves, stands up in front of everyone and goes, I'm the only serious researcher here. I have a PhD. None of them do. I'm the only one that knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
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 And this person never had a Bigfoot sighting in their life. But he knows more than everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's, you kind of run into that, not just in the cryptid community. I mean, you run into that in daily life, no matter what it is.
True.
If a person is truly an expert, they don't need to tell you they're an expert because you're already going to know they're an expert.
Right.
Um, And the fact that 90% of people in this community agree that there's no experts in the field
Yeah.
tells you that there's no experts in the field.
But
Because if there were experts, that would be 90% of the people would say, yeah, that guy's an expert or that woman's an expert, not nobody's an expert.
yeah. But these so-called experts and para celebrities, they're not appealing to the people that are in the field. They're appealing to the people that have a passing interest, and they want to sell books or DVDs or lectures, and they're all in it for making the money and
Right.
getting,
And
yeah,
suckers born every minute.
yeah, yeah. It seems like it's every second nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. They breed like rabbits now. Well, Jim, we've been going for about an hour. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find Paranormal Fellowship?
All right. If you're interested, and like I said, I use this stuff as a video diary because I'm getting old and I know I'm going to forget it. But you can go to Paranormal Fellowship on YouTube, Paranormal Fellowship on Facebook, and I just started Paranormal Fellowship on TikTok. Yes, an old fart like me is actually on TikTok.
You're,
So,
you're doing dances and stuff, aren't you?
oh, sure am. Fan dances I've been working on with the balloons and the feathers, and yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. If you have one of those videos, I will include it in this episode because I want to see this.
No, it's definitely pay-per-view only.
Oh, okay. That's for members only. You
Exactly.
heard it here first. He's got his own site called Only Jim. Okay, I got you paused. So you were saying you have another UFO encounter?
This one I would definitely say was a UFO encounter. Um, and I'll even send you the video where you could take a listen and watch it for yourself. Good. In the video, you hear me describe it as the Borg mothership from Star Trek.
Like the big cube thing?
The great big cube, because this was a cube flying through the air.
Wow.
And what gets me is it wasn't even like I was out looking for UFOs. You know, I'm a single guy, so I took the girlfriend. We went out to this local attraction that we have here, a local park called McConnell's Mills, where they have an old mill, some hiking trails, and some waterfalls. And we ate lunch there, and we're driving back home, and we're stopped at a red light, which is on the way traffic was. We're on top of the hill, and we both look forward over the traffic light, and we see this rectangle, this cube, flying from left to right. And we both look at it at the same time, and we said, "What is that?" And I'm grabbing my phone now, and I'm trying to hit record, and I start recording it. And there's no flashing lights, there's no green light, there's no red light, there's no white light, there's no lights whatsoever. It's just a brownish, dark gray, square, rectangle cube flying across the sky. So now, me being as smart as I am, I start driving because the light changed, and I'm trying to drive the car and film this thing at the same time instead of handing my phone to my girlfriend and having her, film the object. So it goes from filming it for a while, and then all of a sudden we miss it, and we're getting the trees and everything. Then we come back onto where we're getting off of the one road we're on and getting onto the interstate, and we see it changed directions. It was going from west to east, and then it turned and accelerated and went north until it blew out of sight. But
Wow.
like I said, we were just having lunch. We weren't looking for a UFO, but we both looked up at the right time.
So this was during the day then?
This was about 3:45 in the afternoon on a Saturday.
Wow. Did anybody else like react to it? Anybody else that was driving?
Like I said, I was so busy watching the sky and everyone kept moving. I don't think anyone else really noticed what was going on. We just happened to be in the right spot at the top of the crest at this red light, because the red light, goes up the hill. We just happened to be at the top of the crest, and we just seen it right over top of the red light. And when you look at it, when you see the video, you'll see it looks like a little brown dot. And with an iPhone, you can only zoom in so far. But I actually froze the picture and then zoomed in further, and you look at it, it's really weird because it's like you see hollow spaces, just like the Borg cube.
Wow. Yeah, send me that video and I'll take a look at it and try to get it into the episode here.
All right, that works. Like I said, we just went out for lunch. There was no Bigfoot, ghost, or UFOs or anything. We just went out to lunch.
Wow. And how long ago was this?
It would have been not this August, it had been the August before.
Oh, wow.
So August of 2024.
Wow. 2024 was a active year for weird things happening. That
Yeah,
was
me
when...
having a girlfriend was weird enough.
Oh, wow. Oh, crud. So was that it on your UFO encounters then?
That's it for the UFO encounters. But yeah, I mean, that was, like I said, that was the only thing I could actually say was a UFO.
Wow. Wow. And who would have thought it would be the Borg?
Yeah.
Have you been assimilated?
I'm hoping not, because I keep going to the hospital, so I must not be part machine yet.
Well, Jim, once again, thank you for coming on Myth. Edit that. Well, Jim, welcome. What the heck?
See, you're thinking about that fan dance too much now. I got you all
I am.
flustered.
Holy cow, I might even leave this part in just because I'm getting all flustered thinking about you with the fan. Well, Jim, what the heck? I keep saying welcome.
Look, you're even blushing.
Okay, serious now. I'm serious. I'm a serious podcaster. Well, Jim, thank you for coming on Myths, Monsters, and Mullets and for the second time. And if you've had a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, you can email me at mythsandmullets@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook, or you can jump in alive if I ever do one again. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. Gotta go. And that's it for tonight. Make sure you're checking out the description on this episode for any links associated with the guest. And if you've had a paranormal encounter you'd like to share, you can email me at mythsandmullets@gmail.com. Good night, everyone.
Shadow in the pines lurking in the dusky air. Bigfoot stomps through the woods like he don't care. Lights in the sky flash green then blue. Aliens descending with a secret or two. Whispers in the breeze, cold fingers down your spine. Ghosts in the graveyard, twisting through time. Eyes wide open in the dead of night. The myths and monsters giving one hell of a fright. Oh, Myths, Monsters, and Mullets podcast, spinning wild tales of a future and a past. Hosted by John Methenkamp's fiery soul. He takes us where the wild unknown flows. Oh, Myths, Monsters, and Mullets podcast, spinning wild tales of a future and a past. Hosted by John Methenkamp's fiery soul. He takes us where the wild unknown flows. Down by the bayou, you hear a raspy growl. Swamp gas glowing as the coyotes howl.